have some updates for you. Chris, what have you learned?
Blair, good morning to both of you. Illinois State Police updating us just minutes ago on the situation here. We are outside of the Blitz Sports Bar and Grill on 9th Street. That's very close to Exchange Avenue, just off 5570 here in East St. Louis. You can see the scene is still active behind us. Crime scene investigators from the Illinois State Police still photographing potential evidence here, and there is a lot to take in. We've counted at least 40 evidence markers on the scene here, on the street here, on 9th Street. Those markers typically indicate things like shell casings, and a good amount of the investigation has been focused on an SUV outside of the Blitz Sports Bar and Grill here. It's a dark colored SUV just beyond an East St. Louis police vehicle here. The investigation continuing to unfold at the scene some 4 hours now after the original shooting took place. Let's take a look at the video that our Nissan Roadrunner Brian Howe captured overnight while I give you the very latest details that were just provided to us from Illinois State Police. This all went down a little after 2 o'clock this morning. East St. Louis Police requesting help from Illinois State Police as the shooting unfolded. Illinois State Police confirming now that 2 male victims were struck by gunfire and pronounced deceased at this scene. We saw both of those bodies being loaded into a medical examiner's vehicle within the past hour or so, then that vehicle driving off. A female victim, according to Illinois State Police, was also hit by gunfire and transported to an area hospital. The information being given us from Illinois State Police at this point does not have a condition on that female victim. This release also saying that the investigation is still active, which is clearly what's happening here at the scene. So basically, Blair and Don, we have a shooting outside of the Blitz Sports Bar and Grill here a little after 2 o'clock this morning. 40 evidence markers on the street here. Police now confirming 2 male victims hit by gunfire, pronounced dead at the scene. A third victim, a female, also hit by gunfire. She has been transported to an area hospital. We have no word about any suspects in custody. Also, no ages or names yet released by authorities. We're now live in East St. Louis. I'm Chris Ferrier.
Thank you so much, Chris, for that update. Well, a St. Louis man wrongfully convicted of murder more than 30 years ago is finally a free man. Now you can hear those family members.
Good morning. Good morning.
Out of the courthouse on Market Street yesterday.
So glad to see you guys.
St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore, his family, and his attorneys.
So glad to see you guys. If you woke up this morning, man, you blessed. Right now, we are on several different platforms. We're also on TikTok, Pleasant Management Instagram page. So if I look like a little awkward, it's because I have several cameras going at the same time. So please forgive me as I learn to navigate through this. Also on Facebook, we have what's called the Money Mastermind Academy. Please join our Facebook group, the Money Mastermind Academy. So every morning, and I mean literally every morning, I want to do what's called Coffee and Credit. And I invite you guys to send me questions, credit-related questions, funding-related questions. I put this out on Facebook the other day. I literally have enough questions probably to go from here to December. But please continue to send me questions. The purpose of this is so much misinformation out there and scamming. You know what I'm saying? There's so much misinformation and scamming out there. So I want to try to give some clarity to real information. That's the purpose of Coffee and Credit. Some mornings we may start at 6, some mornings we may start at 7, but it will be every morning consistently 7 days a week. But I invite you, please DM me questions so I could address them. You know, recently, as of yesterday or day before, we had a guy that's very well known in the scamming community that posted for $10,000, he will show you the TransUnion sweep method, meaning that I can get everything on your TransUnion account erased in 24 hours. And I literally posted, I wrote on the Facebook page in the Money Mastermind Academy page, I posted exactly what he's doing. And that particular person actually reached out to me and said, "You a hater." But this guy was charging $10,000. $10,000 for basically useless information. And I say this all the time. Those gurus that you guys look up to, those guys that you cheer for, those guys that you buy their courses and you support and you like their posts, those guys are not going to show you what it took for them to get to where they're at. They're going to sell you courses. Selling the courses got them to where they're at, not actually using the courses. So again, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for everyone that's coming aboard. And let's get started. So the first question I have is, why does my credit decreases even when I don't use it? Okay, that's actually a good question, because I had a client call me last week like, man, my credit score dropped. I don't know why it dropped. And when I went and I looked at his credit profile, he did nothing wrong. But this is the reason why sometimes your credit score may drop without you even doing anything. If you are subscribed to apps like Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, and it's a multitude of others, they are constantly doing soft pulls on your credit. And even though they say a soft pull doesn't affect your credit, it kind of does. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get those pre-approved offers, which, please, if you're on Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, don't apply for none of that shit. Please, I'm telling you, like, don't apply for anything that they suggest that you've been pre-approved for. All right, don't do it. And if you want to know more about that, please hit me in the DMs. We could do a one-on-one consultation. I'll tell you why. But Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, Self, Kickoff, they're constantly pulling your credit, constantly. If you go to freeannualcreditreport.com and you get a hard copy of your credit report, in that credit report, it will show you soft inquiries. You may have hundreds of soft inquiries because these companies are constantly pulling your credit to see what you're pre-approved for. You know what I'm saying? And I use the quotation pre-approved because Credit Sesame and Credit Karma recently got sued by the feds because they were telling people that they were pre-approved for offers, and then when they applied for the offers, they were denied. So they actually got sued by the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Board. They got sued by them for millions of dollars for deceptive practices. All right. Meaning that they were deceiving you. They would tell you, oh, you've been pre-approved for this particular credit card, and you apply for the credit card. Now you got a hard pull on your credit report that's going to decrease your credit score, and you get denied. So now with Credit Karma and Credit Sesame, what they're doing now, if you read the small print, they're saying, oh, you've been pre-approved for this card. However, if you are denied, we will send you $50. And that's literally what they're doing right now. Literally. So that's the first question I got. Why does my credit decreases even when I don't use it? You don't have to use it. It's an algorithm. You know what I'm saying? I watch my credit score every month, and I'm pretty consistent. Like I lose 10 points, 15 points, go up 20 points. It just happens. You know what I'm saying? But the credit score doesn't mean anything. You know, you can have a 700 credit score and get denied for everything you want. It's really about your credit profile, which we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. We're going to talk more about the credit profile tomorrow. So again, I want to say thank you for joining right now, Coffee and Credit. So the next question is, can you get business credit with bad personal credit? that's a hard one. And I'm gonna tell you why. It depends on how long you've been in business. Let's say you've been in business for 2+ years and you have consistent income to back up that business, then yes, you may be able to get a business line of credit or business credit cards based off the performance of the business. However, if you've been in business for 2 or less years and you have bad personal credit, no, you're dead in the water. And I know people go on social media and be like, oh, you could get business credit with bad personal credit. You can't. You can't. What they're doing is they are advocating that you purchase or you subscribe to what's called charge cards. A charge credit card means that you can only use that credit card at that particular institution. If I get a Home Depot card, I can only use that Home Depot card at Home Depot. You know what I'm saying? If I get a Staples card, I can only use that card at Staples. It's called Tier 3 cards. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, look, if you get these Tier 3 business charge cards, not credit cards, charge cards attached to your business account, then as you use the cards, then it would increase your business profile. All right. What I've learned is this here. Banks don't give a fuck about a paydex score. They don't. Banks don't give a fuck. Like these guys be talking about a paydex score. Banks don't give a fuck about a paydex score. And I've spoken to them personally with my businesses and with my wife's businesses. Banks don't give a fuck. Like, they don't give a fuck about Dun and Bradstreet. That shit don't even matter to them. What matters to them is what is your personal credit score. Because think about this. If you go to a bank and you're asking them, I need $500,000 to fund my business, how is the bank able to judge your credibility or your ability to pay this money back if they don't go off of your personal credit score? Think about that. They have to go off your personal credit score in order to judge your credibility to pay this loan back. So on your personal credit score, if you got charge-offs, you got collections, you got late payments. If you got a $1,000 Capital One card and you late paying this card every fucking month, why would I trust you with $500,000? Why would I trust you with $500,000? Why would I trust you with $100,000? Even going back to trying to get higher limit credit cards. Again, if you have $1,000 limit on a Capital One card and you always late on the payment, you always go above the limit, why would Navy Federal, DCU, Truist, Penn Fed, why would one of these institutions give you a $10,000 card if you can't manage a $1,000 card? But we got to use common sense sometimes. We actually have to use common sense. Common sense. I have clients call me, hey, Mo, I need funding. I need this. Bro, you was late making a $37 payment, minimum payment on a credit card last month. You was late. So, I mean, what you expect me to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, credit is not a magic wand. It's time and patience. It really is. And not only is it time and patience, it's restoration. All right, we're going to talk about that later. All right, the third question. I'm only doing 5 every morning. I'm only doing 5 questions every morning. So if anybody have any questions they want me to comment on, address, please DM me. Please join the Money Mastermind Academy on Facebook. All right, question number 3. Why do you always recommend opening 3 to 5 bank accounts? All right, this is the reason why. Oftentimes we follow the example of our parents and grandparents. All right. So a lot of us have like Regions bank accounts, Bank of America, Chase. And honestly, those what I call mainstream banks, they do nothing for us because their criteria is so high. You know what I'm saying? Like oftentimes you got to have a 700 plus credit score just to get a credit card from them. You know what I'm saying? So what I recommend is always credit unions and neighborhood institutions. You know, like I live in Creve Coeur. There is one branch, one bank called Electra Savings Union that's right down the street from my house. They have one branch in the entire United States of America. Very customer friendly, high limit credit cards, auto loans easy, home loans easy, because they're community friendly, as opposed to like big banks, again, BOA, Regions, a lot of those institutions, they're more like corporate friendly than they are community friendly. You know what I'm saying? I recommend 3 to 5 for this reason, especially for those that are restoring their credit, because it's one thing to have bad credit, but it's another thing to have to restore your credit, because a lot of people don't realize it's this. Let's say you hire me or another agency and we are repairing your credit. Sometimes as we get certain items deleted, your credit score may actually go down. See, people are under the assumption that when you get items deleted, your credit score goes up. That's not true. That's not true. Because it's 5 factors that determine your credit score. So let's say if you had a student loan that's been around for 15 years, and one of the factors of your credit score is length of credit, and I have that student loan deleted, your credit score may drop 50 points, may drop 100 points, because I just killed your length of credit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I never recommend, when it comes to student loans, I never recommend deleting student loans. Like, you know, right now, try to get a forbearance. It's programs right now to where actually you could take that student loan out of collections, out of a charge off, and get it back positive. I think within like 120 days, I done it. I did it personally. You know what I'm saying? I actually did it personally. And they go off of your income that you report. So if you call the student loan people and say, hey, look, I work, I make $15 an hour. They may say, okay, pay us $105 a month for 4 months, and we're going to take this out of collections. Again, I've done it myself personally. I've done it for my oldest daughter. It works. Another reason why I recommend 3 to 5 accounts is this: secure credit cards. So sometimes most credit unions have excellent credit building programs. All right, Simmons Bank, Truist Bank, DCU, they have excellent. NASA Credit Union down in Florida, down in Miami, like they have excellent credit building programs. You know what I mean? So if I would rather open up an account, and I tell my clients this, open up an account, 3 to 5 accounts, in which each bank, if you're available, if you can, get a secure card with each one. I would rather get a secure card with a bank that would eventually unsecure in time, as opposed to getting a Milestone, a First Premier, Capital Plus, all those subprime cards, what they call subprime cards. A subprime credit card is a credit card that you have to pay an annual fee to every year, with the exception of American Express. You know, American Express have an annual fee, but they set up to where you can actually eat that annual fee up if you use their products and services. Like my American Express Platinum, I pay $695 a year just to have that in my wallet. However, because of all the benefits, all of the things that they recommend that you use, you will actually surpass that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the American Express lounges, so forth and so on. They give you a lot of benefits to eat that up. You know what I mean? So, but those other cards, again, the Milestones, the First Premiers, the Capital Ones, not Capital One, but Capital, what is it? It's Capital something. But anyway, all those cards that's recommended by Credit Karma and Credit Sesame, stay away from them. So I always recommend to our clients, go to a credit union in your neighborhood, open up 3 to 5. All right, you can have as many bank accounts as you want. Right now, I'm at 11. I have 11 bank accounts nationwide. I have 11 from LA to New York. I have 11 accounts. I want to say my wife has like 7. And I only have one that's from a big bank. I have one Regions account. Everybody else is credit unions. Everybody else is credit unions. And with those, once you open up those accounts, 3 to 5, get a secure card. And what's great about a secure card is that once you're in the process of repairing your credit, if it's being done correctly, within 90 to 120 days, that secure card should unsecure, meaning that, let's say I go to Navy Federal, I get the blue secure card for $500, all right? And I have a company that's working on my credit, okay? As my credit score increases and my profile gets better, Navy Federal will take that $500 that I put on the secure card, and I'm doing the right thing. You got to be doing the right thing, all right? This is all about responsibility and accountability. You have to be doing the right thing. Navy Federal will return that $500 into my savings account, and they will unsecure the card, and you should have a limit anywhere from $1,500 to $2,100. All right. My first secure card with Navy Federal was $500, and it took me maybe 5 months to get unsecured, and they gave me $2,000. And right now, that same card that was $2,000 is at $25,000. You know what I'm saying? Because you get credit line increases every 91 days. So that's another conversation that we'll talk about. Hey, Candy, how you doing, ma'am? So that's why I recommend 3 to 5 accounts. Also, every bank pulls from different credit reporting agencies. All right. So I get a question all the time. People say, man, how was you able to buy 3 cars in the same week? Well, DCU pulls from Equifax. Navy Federal pulls from TransUnion. PenFed pulls from Experian. So what I did was on the same day, in the same week, I applied for auto loans from each of the different credit unions because the bureaus do not communicate with each other. TransUnion don't let Equifax know what's going on. Equifax don't let Experian know what's going on. Like, they don't communicate with each other. So what I did was, and this also applies not only to auto loans, but even to, like, if you want to buy investment properties or, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to apply with each institution, financial institution, for auto loan. Navy Federal gave me 90, DCU gave me 54, and PenFed gave me 50, 55. So I was able to buy 3 vehicles in the exact same week with check in hand, no money out of pocket. My wife did the same thing. We was going to do 3 with her, but we wanted to make sure that we could service the debt. That's the thing about credit too. You want to make sure that you could service the debt. It's not about getting in debt. Can I service the debt? Do I make enough income to pay for this shit? You know what I mean? So my wife, we was able to get her 2023 Camaro RS convertible, no money down off of credit. And we started to duplicate the exact same thing. But again, we had 4 new cars within 30 days, and we wanted to make sure that we could service the debt because we know we can always come back 6 months from now and do it again. So that goes back to credit also. So that's the reason why I always suggest opening 3 to 5 accounts because of the credit builder program. And I would rather have a secure card from a DCU or Truist, Navy, PenFed, as opposed to, First Premier. You know what I mean? And a lot of times with those subprime cards, they don't even increase. You may get $500 from Indigo, and it's going to stay $500 forever. Like, you would never get a credit line increase. So again, if you have more questions about that, hit me down on the link. I got you. Why does your credit score don't matter? Your credit score don't matter. It don't. And that's something that I really try to get people to understand a lot, almost on a daily basis. Your credit score don't matter. It's really about your credit profile. Like, what's your length of credit? How much credit do you have? Do you have late payments? Do you have collections? Do you have those? And late payments are the worst. I'd rather deal with a collections account than a late payment. Late payments are the worst. You're at the mercy of the creditor when it comes to late payments. All right. So understand this here. It's 5 factors that affects your credit score. All right, the first one is payment history. All right, 35% of your credit score, 35%, the highest is payment history. That means, is he making his payments on time? That's it. That's it. No, again, one late payment can cost you 50 to 100 points decrease. So 35% of your credit score is payment history, all right? 30% of your credit score is the amount owed, what people call utilization. That's 30% of your credit score. That means that if I have a $1,000 credit card and I owe $700 on that credit card, that means you have a 70% utilization on that card. And the industry standard is 30% or less. And I tell my clients, if you're trying to apply for something new, like a credit card or a home loan or auto loan, you might want to go 10% or less, or 5% or less, or zero. You know what I mean? Because it really matters. So that's why sometimes when people see they score decrease and they say, oh man, like I didn't do anything, and then I go check their credit and I see on their credit card they're almost at the limit, that's why your score decrease, because you're using a lot of the utilization on your credit card. So your score decrease because the algorithm is saying, okay, this person normally doesn't do this. Like, say if you get ready to go on vacation and you get an Airbnb, you get a rental, you get your airline tickets, and normally on this particular credit card, you probably spend $200-300 a month, and all of a sudden you spend $4,000, even though it may have a $20,000 limit. You know what I'm saying? But you only spend $200-300 a month, $500 a month, and all of a sudden now you spend $6,000 because you're doing this family vacation. Your credit score would drop because the algorithm is saying, hey, no, this person normally doesn't spend this amount of money, and his utilization went up. Now it'll balance out in time, but your score will drop. It will drop. 15% of your credit score is the length of history. How long have you had credit? A person 60 years old will have a stronger credit profile than someone that's 21 years old, because the person 21 probably only have, at best 3 years of credit history, as opposed to someone that's 60 may have, 30, 40 years of credit history. So your length of credit does matter. Now I want to caveat right here, right? This is where trade lines come into play when you talk about length of history. And I want people to really pay attention to this. If you are 30 years old, right? All right. If you're 30 years old and you're looking to buy a trade line, and you buy a 15-year trade line, those institutions are not stupid. So that means you were 15 years old. That means you were 15 years old when you got this credit card, or you became an authorized user on the card. Like, they're not stupid. Like when it comes to trade lines, man, you got to really use some common sense. You got to use some common sense. You got to do a little math, because most people that sell trade lines are not going to tell you this. They're just trying to make a sale. You know what I mean? And we sell trade lines here, or not sell, but lease. We lease trade lines here. But yeah, and trade lines are only good for certain things. Like, say if you try to apply for a high limit credit card, a trade line may help you. But if you're trying to, say, purchase a home, a vehicle, they will see on your credit report that it says authorized user. They know that's not your card. They know that you probably paid somebody to add that card onto your credit profile. So, it's no use to you. And I tell clients this all the time. They be like, well, Mo, I want to get a trade line. And I ask them why. Well, I'm trying to buy a car. It won't help you. A trade line won't help you. Like, no matter what they say, it won't help you, because the auto dealership, they're going to send your credit reports to 8, 10, 15 different lenders. And the lenders can see that this is a trade line. Like, this isn't your card. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is not yours. This is someone else's. You know what I mean? So that would not help you at all. But again, on the flip side, if you're trying to get a higher limit credit card, yes, a trade line may help you. But other than that, no, it won't help you. 10% of your credit is new credit, meaning that ties in with your inquiries. And that's why I see this often. going back to the auto dealership. People go to a dealership to buy a car, not knowing that that dealership is going to run their credit, do hard inquiries 10 to 15 times. I could look at a credit report and see the dates, and I could tell a client, oh, this weekend you went car shopping because you got 40 fucking inquiries in one weekend and you went car shopping looking for a car. Like, how did you know? I can see it on your credit report. And inquiries are becoming incessantly harder to remove because, again, my job as a credit repair expert is to say that prove that it was me. And oftentimes now, particularly with auto dealerships, they're saying, hey, listen, this person was here. They signed this document. We ran a credit. So it's becoming increasingly difficult. And if you want to know more about that, please hit the link, send me a DM. Let's talk about it. And the last thing is 10% of your credit is the type of credit you have. You want to have a mix. You know what I'm saying? You want to have credit cards, charge cards, auto loan. There's a thing called rent reporters. You can add to your credit. Like, you want to have a credit mix because this shows, again, potential lenders that this person is responsible. Like, this person knows how to handle their finances. So you want to have a credit mix, and that's something that I can help you with, also having a good credit mix. And the last question of the morning, what is this? What are they talking about? Okay, got it. The last question of the morning, and I get this a lot. Person asked me, how long does credit repair take? First of all, I want to say it's more expensive to have bad credit than to worry about how long credit repair takes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more expensive to have bad credit. Like, bad credit is expensive, man, because bad credit actually determines what neighborhood you live in. Think about that. Bad credit determines what neighborhoods you live in, because now they do a credit check in order to get housing, to get an apartment. They do credit checks. You know what I'm saying? Bad credit determines what school your children attend. Because if you can't move to a better community, then that means your children can't attend better schools. Think about that. Your credit determines your employment. I have a client right now. He works in the nuclear field. All right. He is one of maybe 100 specialists in the entire nation that work at nuclear plants. All right. He traveled from plant to plant. He ran into some credit problems, and they called him into HR and told him, get this straightened out, or we will have to let you go. So you may ask yourself, why does his credit has anything to do with his employment? Well, this is the reason why. If you are in financial difficulties, right, and someone wants to know, let's say, corporate secrets, then they may be able to bribe you into telling them what you do, how you do it, where you go. That's why it's important. That's why even certain police departments or federal agencies, if you have bad credit, they would terminate you because they feel like you could be bribed. You know what I mean? Like, they actually feel like you could be bribed. You know, if this person is having some type of financial difficulties, what extent would he go to get out of it? So yes, your credit determines your employment. I remember when I first got released from federal prison, one of the first jobs I applied for was American Express, working the telephones. And they said that they didn't hire me because I was an ex-felon. They hired me because they didn't hire me because I had bad credit. They were like, we can't have you work for us. I'm sorry. We can't have you work for us. How we know that you won't be stealing people's personal information and scamming? Because you have bad credit. You know, certain banks will not hire you if you have bad credit. My daughter at one time, my oldest daughter at one time, while she was in college, was working at a bank. And she had bad credit. Like I had to fix her credit so at that time she could keep her employment. And she had to show them, like the guy with the nuclear, work at the nuclear plant. I had to write him a letter, an official letter, telling his employer that he retained our services to repair his credit, or they were going to terminate him. So yes, your credit determines even your employment. And I'm going to say this here right now, and a lot of you guys may get this, you may not get this, but in the near future, there is a system, a process called FICO 10T. And it's slowly being implemented by all these corporations. Right now, most companies operate off of what's called FICO 8. With FICO 8, and I inform our clients, like if you have a late payment, wait 3-4 months, that late payment won't have as much potential damage as it did when you first got it. All right, because late payments are like the most difficult to get removed. They are the most difficult. 3-4 months, most creditors, when they pull your credit report, they only go back 120 days. They want to see what's been going on in your life for the last 3-4 months, right? What happens is this. With this new system, FICO 10T, they can go back 2 years. 2 years. So imagine going back. Imagine you lost your job. You went through a divorce. Your significant other left you, or God forbid died, and your finances changed. They can go back 2 years and see all your financial discrepancies and make a determination if they're going to give you that product, that service, or that loan going back 2 years. And for most people, we're talking about, near the end of COVID, during COVID, you know what I'm saying? Like, even now, people got it rough. You know what I'm saying? If you have the ability to wake up every morning with a roof over your head, and you have the ability to pay your bills on time, you have the ability to go to the grocery store and feed your family, you winning. You winning. You are absolutely fucking winning. And I'm telling you, you are absolutely fucking winning. Because it's rough. It's rough. And please don't buy into this everybody's broke, because everybody's not broke. They're not broke. People are just more cautious. I just seen an auction the other day. They sold Kevin Spacey's house. I think it was in Boston for like $4 million. Like, everybody's not broke. People are just more cautious of how they spend their money. Most people are just cautious how they spend their money. So everybody's not broke. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, like, when you say certain things, you manifest that. You know what I mean? You manifest that shit in your life. So if you go around saying everybody's broke, then you broke. Then you broke. And you might not be broke. You might be blessed, because, again, if you can wake up this morning, right now, this morning, and the first of the month is next week, I could pay my mortgage or my rent. We have groceries. My kids are well fed. They got clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you blessed. So quit buying into the bullshit, man. You blessed. Even though it may be paycheck to paycheck. It might be. But as long as you keep moving forward, times will get better. And I promise you that, because I've been through it. I absolutely been through it. So again, this is my recap for this morning. I'm sorry, sometimes I get to preaching. But I've been through so much shit in my life, man, to where it's like I don't complain about nothing. I don't complain about nothing. And people be like, "Oh, Mo, you make it seem like it's so easy," because it is. It really is. It's your priorities. You know what I'm saying? It's your priorities. What's more important to you? You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between most people. Like, what's more important to you is your priorities. That's all. And I really mean that. It's your priorities. You know, even when it comes to my own children, it's their priorities. And I get into it with them weekly because of their priorities. You know, it's what's more important to you. You know what I mean? It hasn't been a concert that came through St. Louis this year that wasn't sold out. Not one concert that wasn't sold out. Sexy Red concert almost sold out. Nicki Minaj gonna be here in October, almost sold out. You know, Chris Brown sold out. You know what I'm saying? It's your priorities. What's more important to you? You know what I mean? What's important to me is establishing accounts. You know what I'm saying? I have Charles Schwab. I have Acorn. I have, you know what I'm saying? That's what's important to me. I recently just opened up American Express savings account. That's what's important to me. You know what I mean? Like, fuck a concert. You can go on YouTube and see that shit. I can experience that shit on YouTube. You know, I'm not paying fucking $400 for a goddamn concert ticket. Fuck Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just me. That's my experience. I would rather fly. I'd rather take my money and fly, which I have, my wife and I, fly to Dominican Republic, fly to Colombia, and spend a week there for $2,000 than buy her and I 2 tickets for $1,000 or more for a concert. It makes no sense to me. That's me though. That's just me. That's just me. You know what I mean? That's just me. You know, and again, guys, please submit me questions. We're going to come back again tomorrow morning. Again, coffee and credit. That's all we talk about, coffee and credit. All we talk about is business funding. Trying to debunk myths out there. It's certain people right now that I absolutely, I don't want to say hate, but I want to say that the information they give is not how they made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you take people like the Wall Street Trapper, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's... What's funny about him is that he gives you information that's common. Like, it's common. Like, he reads an article. All right? This guy reads an article, and he goes on social media as if he's the one that created the information from the article, and people eat that shit up. And then he said, hey, buy my ebook, buy my method for $99, and I'm going to show you how to get rich, how I got rich. And that's not how he got rich. He probably don't even fucking trade for real, to be honest with you. You know? Man, 19 keys. It's so many of them out there, man, that they just really, really fuck our community up, man, with that bad information. You know what I'm saying? If you don't follow JT Pocket Watching on YouTube, go to his channel. Go to his channel. He exposes a lot of them guys. Hey, what's up, Henny? Good morning, baby girl. Happy belated birthday. Been knowing you since you was a pup. But go to JT Pocket Watching. And JT is actually located in St. Louis. I've had consultations with him. Great guy. Great guy. Very, very good, genuine dude. There's another guy on YouTube called The Credit Plug. The Credit Plug. The Credit Plug, a lot of information that these guys regurgitate, they get from him. They get from him. Because the Credit Plug actually goes out like me and he does the homework. You know what I'm saying? And he shows you proof. So a lot of stuff that you see a lot of these guys repeating come from the Credit Plug. Another one on Facebook, The Radical Marketer. All right. The Radical Marketer is the truth. His community, that they always posting their results of what they're doing. And what happens is a lot of these people are screenshotting that shit and they reposted it as if they did it. And I see it every day. Like, I'm like, what? Like they actually screenshot it and they reposted as if they did it. But they're not the ones that did it. So JT Pocket Watching on Facebook and also on YouTube. The Credit Plug on YouTube. The Radical Marketer, and Radical is spelled with a K instead of a C. The Radical Marketer on Facebook, and also the Navy Federal Facebook community. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see people literally screenshot the results of other people and post it as if they made that happen for them. So the purpose of me coming on here every morning doing coffee and credit is to debunk a lot of bullshit. Like, when I say I want to see people win, I want to see people win. Because you winning doesn't mean I'm losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean I'm losing. I've been home 5 years proudly, been home 5 years, married for almost 2 years to my wife. When I say I'm going to show you the possibilities that man can do when they focus. When you focus, I'm going to show you what man can do when they focus, but you have to be focused. You know what I mean? I went a whole year without dating. I went a whole year without fast food. I went a whole year working 2.5 jobs, stacking my money. Like, I did that shit. I did that shit. So when I tell people, listen, this is the way you need to do this to get out that situation you're in, I really mean that, because I did it. I started with $350 in my pocket walking home from the feds. $350. And right now, between my wife and I, our net worth is probably about 1.5 million. That's our net worth with everything, like 1.5 million. You know what I'm saying? Her and I together. So when I say the possibilities are there, the possibilities are there. But you can't be chasing the Joneses. You got to have discipline. Just like even with my weight loss, I was 500 pounds. I'm 305 right now. You know what I'm saying? It took discipline. You know, when I hang up, when I disconnect this, I'm going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes discipline to do that. It takes discipline. So please, again, submit me questions. I'm sorry for preaching. I'm sorry for preaching, but please submit me questions. I will be back tomorrow morning between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning. Again, it's called, my favorite family right there. How you doing, Miss Daniel? How you doing? My favorite family right there. So again, it's called Coffee and Credit, 7 days a week without fail, between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Please DM me, send me questions. I got you. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We on all platforms. Thank you so much. Listen, guys, if you woke up this morning, you blessed. You blessed. It's all about priorities and discipline. All right? It's all about priorities and discipline. Fuck Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Hitty. I appreciate that. I'm coming every morning. Every morning. Thank you guys so much. Let's have a beautiful day, and let's make every day beautiful. Tell somebody you love them today, all right? Thank you.